Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the shocking story of Charles Sobhraj, one of the most notorious criminals of the 20th century. From his troubled childhood to his crime spree across multiple countries, Sobhraj's life reads like a dark thriller. We'll explore two of his most infamous cases and tie them into one of the most significant world events of the time. Be sure to stick around to the end and let us know what you think in the comments. Childhood and home life. Charles Sobhraj was born in 1944 in Saigon, Vietnam, during a turbulent time in world history. His father, an Indian businessman, and his Vietnamese mother had a rocky relationship, often marked by instability and emotional neglect. After their separation, Sobhraj was raised by his mother and her new partner, a French army lieutenant. Constantly moving between Vietnam, France, and India, Sobhraj grew up feeling like he never truly belonged anywhere. This cultural clash, combined with the instability of his home life, deeply affected him. By the time he was a teenager, he had developed a manipulative nature and a strong sense of entitlement. These traits laid the foundation for his criminal future. Sobhraj's early years were marked by petty crimes, a habit that would soon escalate into something far more sinister. Adulthood and early crimes. By the 1960s, Sobhraj was living in Paris, where he started involving himself in petty theft and fraud. He married a French woman named Chantal Compagnon, but shortly after their wedding, he was arrested for car theft. After serving time, Sobhraj fled with his wife to Asia, where he set up base in Thailand. This is where his real crime spree began. Sobhraj's talent for deception and his multilingual skills allowed him to create numerous fake identities, making it easier to travel between countries and commit crimes undetected. He targeted tourists, often charming his victims before drugging them. In the 1970s, Southeast Asia was a hotspot for Western travelers, and Sobhraj found an endless supply of potential victims. Notorious Crimes, the Bikini Murders. One of Charles Sobhraj's most notorious crimes occurred in 1975 in Thailand, which led to his nickname, the Bikini Killer. He preyed on young backpackers, luring them with promises of friendship and gifts, only to rob and harm them. One of his victims was Teresa Knowlton from Seattle, whose body was found in a tidal pool near Pattaya, dressed in a bikini. The media quickly dubbed Sobhraj the Bikini Killer. His pattern of befriending and drugging his victims before committing heinous acts made him a terrifying figure among travelers in Southeast Asia. Another victim, a Turkish national named Vitaly Hakim, met a similar fate. After luring Vitaly to his hotel, Sobhraj carried out his crime, and Vitaly's burned body was discovered soon after. These two cases were just the beginning of a string of similar crimes that would spread fear across Thailand and beyond. His ability to charm and deceive allowed him to commit these crimes without immediate suspicion, making him one of the most dangerous criminals of his time. World event, the Vietnam War, aftermath. It's important to remember that Sobhraj's crimes were happening in the mid-1970s, just after the Vietnam War had ended in 1975. Southeast Asia was in a state of political and social upheaval, and the region's weak law enforcement systems made it easier for Sobhraj to evade capture. With so many tourists flooding the area in search of adventure, Sobhraj found the perfect environment for his sinister operations. The Kanit House of Nepal. Another infamous case in Charles Sobhraj's crime spree took place in 1976, this time in Kathmandu, Nepal. He and his accomplice, Marie-André Leclerc, continued their pattern of deception and violence, targeting a Dutch couple named Henricus Bintanja and Cornelia Hemker. The couple was charmed by Sobhraj, who invited them to his hotel under the guise of friendship. He drugged the pair, intending to rob them, but the drugs proved fatal. Their bodies were found days later, buried near the hotel, leaving investigators baffled by the coldness and cruelty of the crime. This case exemplified Sobhraj's brutal method of gaining trust and then betraying his victims in the worst way possible. His manipulation and ability to avoid detection left a trail of destruction across several countries. The audacious escape. Tihar Jail, India. Sobhraj's criminal activities finally caught up with him in 1976 when he was arrested in India. Sentenced to a long-term imprisonment, Sobhraj's time in Tihar Jail was anything but ordinary. In 1986, Sobhraj pulled off an audacious jailbreak, solidifying his reputation as one of the most cunning criminals in history. How did he do it? By distributing sedative-laced sweets to the prison guards. It was a well-planned escape. Sobhraj had even tested the sedative on a cat in the jail the week before to ensure its effectiveness. The drugged guards fell unconscious, allowing Sobhraj to simply walk out of the prison. However, his freedom was short-lived. He was recaptured and returned to prison, where he would spend more years behind bars. This escape is still remembered as one of the most daring jailbreaks in history, showcasing Sobhraj's ability to manipulate even the most secure environments. Time in prison and release. Sobhraj spent over 2 decades behind bars in India, but in 1997, his sentence was up and he was set to be released. However, India's legal system wasn't finished with him just yet. Sobhraj's release was delayed, as he was facing multiple other charges in countries like Thailand and Nepal. Rather than being extradited immediately, Sobhraj was able to delay his extradition due to the complex and overlapping legal systems of the various nations where he had committed crimes. Remarkably, after his release in 1997, Sobhraj managed to avoid capture for several more years. He returned to his old life of traveling, now older, but still as manipulative and dangerous as ever. In 2003, Sobhraj made a fateful mistake. He returned to Nepal, the site of one of his most infamous crimes. Police recognized him and arrested him at a casino in Kathmandu. This time, justice caught up with him. On December 21st, 2022, the Supreme Court of Nepal ordered his release from prison because of old age, after serving 19 years of his prison term. He was ordered to leave the country within 15 days. He was deported to France and will not be able to return to Nepal for at least 10 years. Psychological profile and motivation. One of the most intriguing aspects of Charles Sobhraj is his psychology. Sobhraj wasn't motivated by money or greed alone. He seemed to thrive on manipulation and control. Psychologists who studied Sobhraj described him as a narcissist, with an antisocial personality disorder. His ability to charm his victims, gain their trust, and then turn on them with such cold cruelty speaks to a deeper need for power. Sobhraj had a keen understanding of human behavior, which allowed him to prey on the kindness and vulnerability of travelers. His ability to blend into different cultures and adopt new identities made him especially dangerous. He often targeted people who were far from home, without the safety net of family or friends. Impact on international travel and tourism. Charles Sobhraj's crimes had a profound impact on international travel during the 1970s. Southeast Asia, particularly Thailand, Nepal, and India, were popular destinations for backpackers and young travelers looking for adventure. However, news of the Bikini Killer spread fear among tourists. Sobhraj's ability to evade capture and strike in multiple countries created an atmosphere of paranoia among travelers. Many became wary of trusting strangers, and local authorities struggled to provide adequate protection or solve the string of murders tied to Sobhraj's name. As a result, governments began to issue travel advisories, and many tourists altered their travel plans or avoided certain regions altogether. Sobhraj's reign of terror left a lasting scar on the backpacking community, and his crimes served as a reminder of the dangers of traveling without caution. Charles Sobhraj's life is a chilling reminder of how a brilliant mind can use intelligence for dangerous purposes. What do you think motivated Sobhraj? Was it his troubled childhood, his lust for control, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos about the world's most notorious figures. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next story. Stay safe.